All right, for this week's Coach's Corner, we have Coach Davis of MRA, but he's coached a lot of different places. He even told me he was a pretty good baseball player back in the day at Colin and Brookhaven Academy. And Coach, did you always want to do this? Was this like in the front of your mind, or were you like, oh no, I'm going to be a player, I'm going to be an astronaut? What was it?
Man, I've always wanted to coach since I was 12 years old. I mean, it was just something I always wanted to do. I loved it. Loved just the, you know, it always intrigued that X's and O's. I remember even in JUCO, I was always drawing X's and O's on my notebook. So. Yeah,
and are you the type of coach that takes it home with you too?
You know, I used to. I try not to, but yeah, I do a lot. You know, I mean,
I like how that answer swift a little bit.
Yeah, I do. And, you know, and of course, technology makes it easier to do that at home now with all the huddle on the, you know, on my MacBook at home. I can get a lot done at home late at night when, you know, wife's in there doing something else.
Okay, so the question then becomes: you say technology has made it easier, but has it made it easier in all aspects of coaching, or do you think it's actually made it harder in others? Because I feel like getting plays to your kids is probably easier, right? I mean, they can just take it on an electronic device. But is there any parts that it is harder with the technology? Or do you think it's overall just been better?
No, it's so much easier. I mean, we used to spend countless hours burning CDs to give it to everyone so they could have the the cut-ups of the team. Or now you just click 5 buttons and boom, send it out to the kids. So it's that much easier.
All right, we see technology transfer. How have you seen the game of football evolve to what it is now? Because I've been here now 6 seasons, and from my first season to year 6 or 7, the play is getting just so much better, and specifically the quarterbacks.
It has. You know, obviously, just like in college, the spread game has allowed, you know, more parity in high school, just like it has in college. Coaches are better. I think the Mississippi coaches have gotten better in the last 10 years, is what I see. The players have gotten better. You know, the training that these kids go out and do now has made them way better. So all that's a plus. The negative for me is, you know, there's so many people out there trying to get in these kids' lives and point them this direction, point them that direction, instead of just focusing on trusting their high school coach and their trainers. You know.
That's a great point. So I want to stay there for a moment. Parents back in the day used to be the one person, maybe the crazy uncle that wanted their son or nephew to be the star of the team. But now it's people outside the program, the 7-on-7 teams, the AAU in basketball. How, as a high school coach, do you handle that the kids have other teams that they're on, other voices, and other leadership that they guide through with them?
Well, I don't care if it's that or whatever it is, our team comes first. I mean, it's high school. To me, always has been that way. I think high school should be first. Your loyalty should be to that program, and so that's the way we approach it. You know, so if, you know, for example, if we're playing the same weekend, somebody else is on travel, I mean, they're going to play with us. You know, so there'll be consequences if you don't.
That's interesting. Yeah. How do you handle the ones that maybe are thinking of going the other way? Or and you said to me the standards.
Yeah, standard. You have to, at some point you have to decide you want to be a player for us. You want to be a player for somebody else. So.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And how do you handle kids now with their social media? Because social media is just such a big part, and forget the people talking to them, it's the social media aspect of things. Do you ever tell kids, hey, let's stay off social media a day before the game, or do you let them do what they want to do, and then it's like, okay, I trust you?
No, we embrace that. I mean, it is what it is. That's a big part of, you know, communicating with the college coaches, getting their film out there, all that stuff. We encourage them to do that. I always tell my kids about the 4th, 5th game of the season, hey, put a mid-season highlight film out, get that out there. Communicate with your coaches weekly on Twitter. If they're communicating with you, you probably got a good chance. If they're not, then you need to be, you know, moving on to somewhere else. But if they are communicating, you communicate with those guys each week. So we embrace that. We do challenge to say the right things on media, because everybody is looking at you. You know, we want character to still be a big part of what they put on social media.
Okay, final question. Herm Edwards, great NFL football coach, coached in college as well, said that he treated every player differently, but with the same respect. Is that something that you follow, or is it, I mean, obviously the respect part, but do you try to treat everyone the same, or do you have to realize that every kid is different? We have to treat them all
We try to treat them all the same, but there's also, you know, each kid is, you know, handles things differently. You know, I'll just put it bluntly, from old coaches talk, is some kids can handle a butt chew and some people can't, you know. You know, I think the ones that don't are not nearly as mentally tough. However, but you know, that's never changed.
But you're dealing with kids now.
Yeah, you're dealing with kids, but that hadn't really changed in 34 years. Honestly, you know, you've always had some kids that could handle that, some kids that don't. Some kids you got to put a little bit more loving on. Some kids you got to push more because they're maybe a little lazy. Maybe they're not. Maybe they don't want to push themselves as hard. But so that really hadn't changed, in my opinion, in the 34 years I've been coaching.